Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com. It is October the 3rd, and that means that we are ready to talk about summer. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's comic book logic, so we're going to have to use that tonight as we welcome our special guest, Mr. Nandor Shaffer. And you know what? I'm going to be getting rid of this thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, wait, I can probably move.
Sometimes these work, sometimes they're too deep.
I was about to compliment it. I was like, I really like that setup. That's very, very fitting.
It works when it works, and this one here, it needed pruning. I let it get overgrown. But okay, bad idea factory. We'll take that one back and do better next time. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. Yeah. How about you?
I can't complain. I've been having a really good week of live streams. Took last night off finally.
Oh wow, yeah.
But we've been getting ready for Halloween, and that's why I'm kind of excited to. Once we're done tonight, I'm going to be going over and watching some live tweeting with Ivana Cadaver, who she's a horror host.
Oh, cool.
We had her on the stream last week, so it was like really cool. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to see more of what you do. So I'm going to promise her I would tune in when she came on.
Yeah, I love Halloween. I love the season. Fall is my favorite season. I think out of all four. But
so I would expect that something's going to be really, really big when season number 3 comes out. Which for those,
that's right. Exactly. I mean, like every. Not to maybe get too deep into it, but definitely, every season has a symbolic meaning within the story. So definitely kind of some symbolism there with fall and what that could mean. But we're not there yet. We're in summer right now. But
yeah, and for those who are wondering what we're talking about, Nandor has a Kickstarter going on here for his comic book, Seasons. And each chapter is dedicated to one of the specific seasons. The first one being spring, which was successfully crowdfunded and delivered. So that led us up to the second one here, which is fall. Fall. See, I'm still in fall. Summer. It'll probably say that down here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, you got to look for it. It's summer.
Right. I tried to keep it as bold as can be.
Well, you have a $6,000 goal. Is that pretty much what your goal was on spring?
Yeah. So spring was actually 6,500, and I launched a Kickstarter after spring for one of my other books called Lifeline, and that was 5,500. And I was able to. I've been learning kind of more and more about how to. Be more financially wise with everything and be more efficient with everything. So I was able to figure out some things and I was able to make the funding goal a little lower this time around.
All right. And did you, was it a close shave the last time, or did you?
Yeah, like it was pretty close. Like I think we hit, just around $100 or $200 more after the 6,500 goal for the first book. So I wanted to kind of make it a little easier on myself, and then just have it be more enjoyable for everyone around. That way, it's not like, oh, we're just barely making it.
I understand. There's a psychological, impact on backers too. If they see that a lot of people are backing something, or if they see that it's still, in its beginning stages, they react differently.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something that I've noticed a lot, and I always want to reassure everyone who's going to be a part of the project that I'm totally confident in my ability and getting it done. And that's why I was like, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we can get this funded, and that it doesn't have to be like wishful thinking. And so far, I have to say this is my third Kickstarter project, and it's the fastest one out of all of them so far. compare, like I've tripled the speed of backers and the funds that have come in since spring, and doubled since my other project, Lifeline, a couple of years ago.
So that's good then. At this 19, so you're saying that at this point in your last campaign, you weren't near the 1900.
No, I was not. Yeah, like things are like, you know, this is a lot better numbers than the first campaign.
Is Kickstarter the only way you've used to crowdfund, or do you use both the Kickstarter and then you go to Indiegogo, or?
I haven't done Indiegogo yet. It's something that I've looked into, and I've seen a lot of other creators that I follow start to use Indiegogo more. So it's something that I've thought about exploring, and I'd like to possibly, after this is done on Kickstarter, maybe bringing it to Indiegogo, like on In-Demand or something.
That's what a lot of people do. If they like Kickstarter, they'll use Indiegogo as sort of like an online store.
Right. And that seems very handy, because there's been some projects that I've missed, and I'll be like, oh, how can I get that book? Like I missed it, you know, and then I'll go to Indiegogo and I'll see, oh, I can just get it here, even though it's, you know, it's the campaign technically has been over. But and that's something that I wanted to offer, you know, other readers and fans that might not be able to make it. And then, you know, people that, since this will be a series, you know, people that want the previous volume, that can always be a lot more helpful too.
And I think you can even get the previous volume as part
yes,
of
you can. Yeah. It's actually a bundle. You can get volumes 1 and 2, just the regular hardcovers, or you can get the collector's edition, which is assigned and has a book plate. I can actually show you. This is the first book here. And
now, the magic word I want to emphasize there is, I'm going to give you full screen on this.
Yeah, sure.
Hardcover, folks.
Yes, it's a hardcover.
You know,
so,
$20 for the book. It's hardcover. It's big.
Yeah, it's a very, very, like, you know, quality, really sturdy edition of it. And the collector's edition, as I was saying, has a book plate on the inside, and it's signed by me and the artist, and it's numbered out of so many copies that we printed. So it's a really nice kind of collector's edition for people to, you know, that want the kind of next step, you know, and get it signed, because I'm not going to be signing the other ones, just the collector's editions.
I like that it's printed right there on the cover, and it's not on a dust jacket, because I have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have lots of books with dust jackets on them, and you know, I mean, heck, just to be totally hypocritical here, we even printed our first hardcover YA novel with a dust jacket on it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But some of my favorite hardcovers that I have that have dust jackets on them are now dinged up and got little tears at the bottom of them, because, you know, you take them off the shelf, you move somewhere.
Yeah, like anytime, I always have a book with me anywhere I go usually, and you know, even if it's a novel or a graphic novel, and if it's, you know, if it has a dust jacket, I usually leave the dust jacket at home, because if I'm, you know, traveling, or, you know, going somewhere, a coffee shop to read or something, I just don't want to like get it all ripped up and torn. And when my artist and I were envisioning what the book would look like for this first book and kind of for the series, we really wanted to make it something that, you know, people could bring wherever they wanted to. And I thought it would be a lot more, you know, easier for everyone, and not to deal with all of that with a whole other layer to it. And
I would take the dust jacket off before I loan books out too, because I'm like, nobody's going to care for my books like I do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's really true. And
was that a gloss cover?
It's actually matte. Yeah, it's a matte cover. And what I like about that, I'll show it here a little more, is I you know, it's something that I wanted to do matte, because I have some just all gloss graphic novels, and I don't know, it's just not my style. And I've had a lot of people that have come up to me that look at this and they'll pick it up at conventions and book signings I've done, And they're always so interested with how it's laid out and how it's formatted, and because it's like they're not used to just a matte cover. That's a hardcover, and so I'm actually really proud that we went that route because it makes it stand out more.
Very cool. So I'm going to bring the video up here because every successful crowdfund these days will have a video.
Yeah.
Just play that for folks here so they can get an idea of what this is about, and then we'll ask you what it's really about because you can't squeeze it all into the video. Right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is Seasons, Book 2, Summer.
I'm Nandor Shaffer. I'm the creator and writer of Seasons.
I'm Anthony Gonzalez-Clark. I'm the artist of Seasons.
And we are back.
And we're back.
Seasons Volume 2 Summer is the second in the planned 4-volume graphic novel series. The story will pick up right after the events of Seasons Volume 1 Spring, continuing the extraordinary one-year journey of Fletcher. In summer, Fletcher will have to cope with the life-altering events of spring and attempt to find his footing as a new man in this unpredictable world. Now homeless and in need of answers, he befriends a mysterious figure who also manifests supernatural abilities, and they embark together on a trek across America that will bring them face to face against the literal forces of nature. Where spring took Fletcher to the pit of inner turmoil, summer will drag him through the wilderness of outer antagonism where he has no control, only the will to surrender. Anthony and I began Seasons as a webcomic in 2016, and 2 years later we launched a successful Kickstarter campaign for the very first volume. Now we're back to bring Seasons Volume 2 Summer to its fans, and we couldn't be more excited. More than anything, Seasons is about embracing change, and Anthony and I have undergone dramatic changes since the first campaign. I got a new job. I moved into a new place. I met someone really special to me. And Anthony had a baby. The one constant in all of this has been Seasons and our drive to get this series made. And it's only because of you guys that we can do this. So please back this Kickstarter today and share it with all your friends and family, and let's make something truly incredible together. Thank you.
All right, very nice. And you're at 33% of goal.
Yeah, it looks like we just got a backer right now as we've been live streaming. So we're getting closer to that 2,000. It's kind of been my goal for today was to get us over 2,000. So hopefully we'll make it maybe during the stream.
Only $34 left to go.
I know that'd be incredible.
And with it being a $20 hardcover, that's a deal. I'm weird when it comes to books and making books. I guess I never put enough value on my own books. I'll spend $20 on a hardcover, but I have a hard time charging $20 for a hardcover. I'm like, no. You gotta have some ego built into this. Peter did.
Yeah, it's really it's difficult because I've struggled with that too with my books because I've always wondered, what would I pay for, and what seems reasonable to me, and what's a good number for it, and I kind of came down to the point of like, if someone has cash on them, it's like a $20 bill. It's like, yeah, there we go. It's really easy that way, I think. And that's kind of what brought me to my decision for it. And also because, you always want it to be easier for the customer and for the reader. And especially when you're dealing kind of in direct sales and you're just kind of building relationships with people. I think it makes the process of selling a book all that more easier. And like when I've been to conventions and I've been selling the book, it just seems like everyone's really they're surprised too when it's $20 because it is a hardcover, and they're like, "Whoa, it's only $20." And I'm like, "Yeah, like exactly. Like I want you to feel like you're getting more than what you're paying for," and that's something that I always want as a customer when I'm reading comics. And so anytime I buy a graphic novel and it's above $25 value, kind of depending on how many pages it is, it's like, I don't know, like it's something about that extra $5, it just kind of does something.
Yeah, it's I'm looking through the different tiers here because our good friend BAP2 has backed at the collector volume 1 and 2 tier, so that is what we saw go up there. Thank you, BAP.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
BAP2 is the best friend of the crowdfunder, the comic book crowdfunder. He has backed so many books through our stream. It really should be his stream at this point. So let me see what I saw here first. I saw the volume 2. This is the $20 tier, and this is where you get the hardcover. This is one thing I don't like about Kickstarter. I like the mouse on what I'm looking at, and when I do that, it blacks it out.
Yeah.
But this is where you get the volume 2 hardcover as well as the PDF. And we have the one that's slightly higher. It's $30. And this is one where you showed me the book plate. You get the signed limited number of book plate editions, hardcover, and the PDF. And you're shipping anywhere in the world.
And all single graphic novel orders, if they're in the U.S., it's free shipping. But international orders have an extra shipping. But that's good for everyone to know. Is if you just want to get the book, it's free shipping in the U.S.
Yeah, got to be. And then here's the seasons volume 1 and 2. Got to click on it. So that's the $40. Get you 1 and 2 hardcover as well as season 2 PDF. So you're always going to get that season 2 PDF to carry with you wherever you want to go.
Right.
So let me see. Are there any more down here that I should get into? This is the early bird season 1 and 2.
So if you want the collector's editions, for the first week only, I'm having a deal where you can get they would be $30 each, but I'm taking $5 off. So that's a good incentive there for people that want both volumes that haven't read the first one.
Yeah, this is very cool. So this is the collector's edition. This is the one that BAP came in on. So excellent choice there. Getting 1 and 2 signed, and then you're halfway through the series. Unless, of course, you pull a Neil Gaiman.
Right. That's
a novella set in the world of seasons.
I totally I get the attractiveness of doing that, but it's been set in my head for so long that I don't want to do that, as a writer and as someone who's seen so many people that always go back to, I guess what makes them famous or what makes them money. And there's, all the more power to them, of course, that's their project and what they want to do. But I know that there's a definite ending for seasons, and something that will be capitalized on, as fans follow the series all the way through. They'll really feel that completion, and that's the most rewarding thing for me as a reader too.
What you do is you wait till it's all done, and then you pick one of your favorite side characters, come back and say, while they were gone from this panel, somewhere in fall, you put out an 80-page floppy called Indian Summer.
Right. Yeah. Like the vacation issue,
Yes. So we got a little bit about the supernatural in the video introduction there. Mm-hmm. Not really sure what's going on, how supernatural this is. So let's talk a little bit about Fletcher Hart and what he is and how he comes to be.
Yeah, of course. So in the first volume, we start out with Fletcher, and he's this young guy who is, basically just, living the day-to-day, normal person, but he's, you can tell he's searching for something, and he idolizes this girl at his workplace, and it's kind of like everything that he's ever wanted. He thinks, oh, it's this woman, and it's something that I've seen with people as I've grown up, and it doesn't have to be a person, but it can be a thing, it can be a dream. It's something that they all have their all their cards in. It's like their whole life is invested in this object or this thing, and so he's there, and as you're reading it, you're like, dude, there's so much more to life, and there's so much more that that you can be as a person. And the first volume starts off with this obsession, and then there's this turn within the story, and he basically finds out that this other being comes out of him, and it's called the shadow self of him, and he's thrust into this out of nowhere, from the day to day. He's thrust into this entirely new world and this new way of looking at the world, and kind of seeing the symbolism behind the world and how there's meaning underneath everything that we see. And so he's like a fish out of water, and he's totally thrust on this 1-year journey to find who he's meant to be. And in this process, Seasons has a twofold meaning, to where the story takes place over 1 year, but with each passing season, he gains a new set of abilities and powers. So as the seasons change, so do his abilities, and so does the person that he's progressing to become.
So does he stick around after a year, or is just?
Well, that's the thing. Like that's what I want people to ask, and I want them to be invested in the character and wonder, well, what happens? What happens after the year's over, and like what is in it for him towards the end. And so in this volume in summer, so in spring, spring is very much, and every season has a different focus in his character arc and his progression. And spring is very much more of an introspective, reflective story, and summer is more of a seeking story, and him searching for the answers, and him kind of at a loss for, okay, what's my next step? And so he's really on this quest to find out what's happening to him, why is this happening to me, and how can I stop it, or do I want to stop it? What are the other forces at play here? And so he's really this normal guy who is like just totally in this whirlwind of a string of events that he has no control of. And in summer is where he finally starts to sort of find his footing, but he's still really, really doesn't know what the next step should be for this new path that he's on.
So what kind of abilities are we talking about that he's exhibiting here? I mean, is he flying? Is he seeing through walls? Is he talking?
Yeah. So in the first volume, he had four abilities, and one was this emotion ability that he had, where he could kind of peer into everyone's feelings and their true motives. And so like he'd be passing someone on the street, and he could think, oh, that person's about to murder someone. It's not necessarily mind reading, but it's more like he can tell and visually see what they're about to do and what they're aiming for. So that was one. And then he had light, where he could control like electricity, and just he had light coming from his hands, and then dark as well. And there's this scene in the first volume where he creates this blackout in his city that he's in, and he'll manipulate electricity in his house and on the streets, and while he's battling these shadow selves that he fights in the first book. And then he also, so emotion, light, dark, and then fire in the first book. And in the second book, he's exhibiting a new set of powers where he can control the earth or the ground, and then also he has like super strength, and that also involves him being able to run at super speeds, him being able to run, him being able to jump, basically Superman before he was able to fly in the comics.
Yeah. Now, do these all pile onto each other, or do they change with each season?
They do change. Yeah, that's the kicker there is for him. He'll get used to, learning these abilities, and he'll think he'll have a mastery over them, and then the new season will hit, and then he's like, okay, wait a second, like everything's changed, and that's really the point of the book, and something I wanted the character to experience. Not only was he changing, but the powers and his ability to cope with them and understand them and what he can do. And then it when I was developing the story, when you latch onto a superhero character, sometimes I've noticed that it can get a little. It's like, okay, well, what Superman can do, you know what Batman and Captain America and Wolverine and all these characters can do, and they have all this history, and that's what makes them so iconic. But I thought, what if there's a character where they're iconic because their power change? It's like they're not always just one thing, and it made me really excited, and that's what really set me on this drive to write this story and develop the characters.
DC had a character that did that at one point. I don't know if you remember Resurrection Man. You look all 15, so I don't know if you were here at the time. I'm sorry.
No, I do know him. Yeah, I've heard of him. I do know him.
Yeah, he was he would get a different superpower, but unfortunately he of course had to be killed first before he would.
Right. Yeah.
A sucky way to get him. But other than that, I can't think of. I mean, I've had to really go back in history. Old Legion of Superheroes character called Nemesis Kid, whose power was basically whatever your power was, I have the power that works against your power.
That's a good idea. I like that. It's a good one.
But the flavor I'm getting from this, and it's from what you're describing in the story, I'm just going with what I've seen and the theme of it. Reminds me a lot of Mage, Matt Wagner's Mage series that he did like in 3 big volumes as the character the hero was progressing. Now, of course, he had absolutely nothing at all like this. He was being chased by Red Caps, and he was had a baseball bat that was Excalibur, the new Arthur, and he was really strong. But other than that, it's absolutely nothing like Fletcher and Seasons. But to be compared to Mage is it should be a high compliment in my book. And speaking of which, you managed to get Jason Brubacher to comment on the book, which is a pretty decent snag there. How'd that come about?
Yeah, so actually, Jason, he's a really good friend, and I reached out to him when I started posting Seasons online at the website seasonsthecomicbook.com, and that's where I started really sharing it with the world, was as a webcomic first. And Anthony, the artist for the book, he had heard of Jason's stuff and followed him on YouTube and everything, and he thought maybe we should try to reach out to him. And I thought it's a really good idea. Maybe he'll have some some pointers and some tips. And we kind of just started to develop a relationship. We would email each other, and he would check it out. And so really, he just saw what we were doing, and he just really loved it. And the more we were he was really impressed that we kept on posting pages and that we were consistent. And that was something that was really exciting for him to see, because a lot of people will start something, but then they just won't finish it, or they kind of just drop off and they don't necessarily keep it going. And he really liked the quality of the story and the art. And when the Kickstarter for the first book was coming up, I actually asked him if he would provide the foreword for the first volume, and he actually does. So if anyone who gets the first volume, there's actually the foreword for the book is by Jason Brubacher. And so we've been in contact ever since, and I'm planning on being on a live stream with him coming up this week on his YouTube channel. But yeah, he just he's a great guy, and I love his stories, and we just really kind of bonded over creative path we were taking with our stories, and so it just kind of was a natural fit, I guess, for what we were trying to aim at.
One of the things that I'm liking about your setup here is you got a lot of tiers, but they're kept very simple.
Yeah, for sure. We've done. I'd love to experiment more, but it's always a risk when you try to like put too much in something, and then you start confusing a potential backer on what they could actually like get. And also, since a lot of the handling of everything is really through me, I don't want to like complicate it too much for myself. And when I'm shipping things out, and when I'm working with backers and getting everything together, it makes it easier on myself as well.
So one of the levels we got here above the collector's early bird is the you get this art print. Now this is the art that was basically the thumbnail for the video that we just watched.
Right.
And now is this does this appear anywhere in the book, or is this like is this a unique?
No, yeah, that's a unique promo image for the series. We actually might put it like in the back of the book, maybe as a twofold like spread, but we really wanted to make this tier important for the campaign and make people go, oh, like I really want that exclusive art print that will only be here on Kickstarter, because it's a really gorgeous image, and I really wanted to give it its own merit, to the campaign, and I thought it would be a really great way to if someone wanted to hang some Seasons art on their wall, it would be like the perfect image to do so.
It's very well done. You know what I would do with it? This is, again, I'm the big idea guy who doesn't do anything. I let other people.
Yeah, no, hit me.
That's the cover for your collected edition.
Ah, okay.
Wrap around cover for all 4 seasons.
There you go. I like it. I could see that.
Because surely you're going to do that when you're done with all 4, right? You're going to do
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Anthony and I, we've talked about that, and it's really interesting because we've thought about where we could take the series in the future, and something we'd like to do as well, maybe at some point, is because if people that are watching, didn't know, it's like Seasons is a black and white comic, but there are pages of color, and we're going to be adding color as the seasons progress, as the books progress, because it's meant to visually convey for the narrative this idea of Fletcher, as he's trying to find wholeness and meaning. We're going to start adding color to his life and his story. So the first book is all black and white, and the second book we're going to start having colored pages inside it. But we've thought about maybe doing something where after we're done with all 4 volumes, we could release them again as a second printing, maybe all in color, or do like single issues or something like that, just to like kind of keep the series alive and kind of show it from a different point of view.
Yeah. Now, when you say black and white, I wanted to bring these pictures up here real quick because
right. It's not. Yeah,
pink.
It's not your standard black and white comic. That's what I always try to convey as well.
This is more of a monochromatic wash.
Yeah, right.
And this is just some beautiful stuff here. The energy coming off of him and the way the light impacts the trees around it and the detail in those trees. This isn't, I took a black ink pen and I drew a comic book. Wow, the light effect on this is beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, right there, that image there, that's one of my all-time favorites.
That's like a bomb going off in the middle of the forest here.
Yeah, that's Baker, the fire character. He's imploding in that scene. So
this is a lot of action. I also like the dynamic panel layouts here. This isn't, it's not, a grid layout each time. I mean, sometimes it is because you don't want to always be, trying to be clever with each page, but it's clever.
We love some of our favorite. That's one of my favorite pages there, and you see that a lot, in the first book as well, and you'll see it in the second book. But we always love putting characters, something Anthony and I share, putting characters outside the panel borders and really like kind of giving you this really like 3D effect with the pages and making you feel all that more like immersed in it.
Yeah, he's like he's in this panel, but he's coming out of the panel, even to the edge there. I love this. It's more like he's like, look at me, I can fly, I can fly, I can fall.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's exactly the scene. Heath, the character who kind of represents wind, he can fly in the story, and Fletcher's very jealous of him because he wants that. He wants that sense of freedom, and so he tries it, and it doesn't end well.
I can leap real high. So very moody picture of Judith there. We went from grayscale to all that black and baby.
Right. Yeah. Judith is the darkest of the bunch.
A siren of sorrows. Okay, so she's water. In addition, I've noticed that in addition to the seasons, we're also getting the elementals.
Right, and that's particularly important for this volume. What's really like, I never wanted to, use a trope or anything like that, and I was really wary of trying to use the elements. But what really set me off on finally going full force with this idea was I'd never seen someone take like characters and the elements and actually kind of bring a twist that I do with it, and that's where these characters are these elements, but not of their own will, and also each element is representing a personality trait of that character. So, and what they're actually experiencing in the real world. It's kind of complicated, but what's happening is for people that will, because you can read the first 50 pages of Summer on the website right now if people want to read it, and you'll find that these characters, these elemental characters, are in two places at the same time, but what's happening is what they're experiencing in the real world is being kind of shown on a massive, large scale in the supernatural world. So it's kind of relaying and conveying the fact that nature itself is involved in this world, and their personal demons and their struggles that they're experiencing.
Yeah. Robert Roberts is in the chat. He's asking if these are traced photos. That'd be a good thing for the artist to answer if he were here, but I don't think they are.
As far as I know, Anthony, what he'll do is he'll take some photos of himself, for anatomy and for expressions and stuff, but he doesn't trace, as far as I know, from what I know of his process.
And I've seen him, and that doesn't look like him. So
right, yeah, for sure. He's a master of the craft, and he's also self-taught, which is just incredible.
In fact, too, it's like, this reminds me of Windrunner series, where the main character learns he can fly. He's having a great time, then he falls out of nowhere, which is exactly what we had in that scene here. This is high quality art and looks good in black and white.
Thank you.
A lot of work doesn't look as good when you color it.
That's really true. Like, I've always been a big fan of just the straight raw black and white, and I have it in the campaign page where if you're a fan of James O'Barr's The Crow, you would really love Seasons, because that was a big inspiration for me for the story, and it really kind of solidified the whole idea, because I was really conflicted. I was like, comics, they're a visual medium, and it's like people want color. They want color in their comic, and I was like, that's a really hard decision to make. But reading The Crow and just seeing how beautiful that book is and how timeless and what a classic it is, I really wanted to stand out and go, okay, let's be bold here and let's make it black and white.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes a single hue can be washed in and it doesn't take it out, but computer coloring something, you ruin so much of the line work, I think.
Yeah.
So you got a $70 pledge here. Now, this is where you get the original sketch, which is a very popular option with crowdfunding. Where is this a random sketch, or do you say, hey, can you draw me a this or a that?
Yeah, it's mainly it's going to be random, to where Anthony will draw like some characters, and then you'll get like one of those characters. But I usually message the backer who chooses that and ask them, like, which one would you like, and they'll choose and decide for them. That way they get what they really want out of it.
All right, and then at the $80 level, you've got the Collector's Season Volume 1 and 2. This is the signed copies, which is what you get after the early bird expires. You get that for $50.
Right.
And then on top of that, you get both PDFs, and you get Lifeline. So what is Lifeline now? That's a new thing I've seen here.
Yeah, so that's my second book that I published after the first volume of Seasons. And while we were working on developing volume 2, I had already had the story written out that I wanted to pursue. And what's really special about Lifeline is that Lifeline is a collaborative project that I did with 7 different artists from all around the world. And each chapter is drawn by a different artist, and it takes place over this one guy's life story. And it's a very simple drama, but it really asks the question of, I'm always, something you'll see just for people that have been reading what I've written so far, I'm always trying to ask myself questions, and something Lifeline asks is, what makes your life meaningful or worth it and worthwhile, and how do other people see you? And what's really cool about Lifeline is that each chapter takes place during a different decade, and that's why there's different art styles, but also it's told from the perspective of a different character within the story. So the art styles reflect the character as well as the decade. I
gotcha. So that's very philosophical. I mean, that reminds me of the whole the Dash anecdote.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like your life is this. Your gravestone is your year you were born, you died, and your life was this thing in between that little line. And what are you going to do with that tiny little bit?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going for there. And it's a single graphic novel. It's a 96-page graphic novel, but it really, I wanted to work with so many artists at the time, and I thought, oh, cool, I can do this. I can work with all these artists at the same time, but for one book, for one story. And it's really, when you read it, you fall, it's whole life of this person, but you can read it in maybe 1 or 2 sittings, and it really is meant to kind of convey that idea that life is short, and you can never take it for granted, the people around you.
I like that idea of using different styles to represent different decades. Jimmy Gownley did that in one of his Amelia Rules books, where they were sitting down to look through the family photo album. Of course, it was a comic book, a graphic novel, so the photo album was going to be graphic novels. And what he chose to do was he chose to use the style of other old comic strips to do the pictures in.
Wow.
So like, great grandpa's pictures were done in a gasoline alley kind of style. And then, mom's pics when she was a little girl were done in a Peanuts kind of style. And it was very obvious which artists he was ripping on through these scripts. It was intentional, but
yeah.
But it got the point across. So the $90 pledge here, this is where you get the book, you get the print, you get the sketch, and you get credit, producer credit.
You do, yeah. We have this acknowledgements page in the back of the book where people can, get their name forever, eternalized into the book and the story. And I have an example here in the first book of what it might look like for people. This is something that you can get for the second book, and you can also the other tier up is where you can get drawn into the acknowledgements as well.
I was just getting ready to ask about that. I was like, if you have 1,000 people do that, suddenly your book's going to be a lot thicker.
Right.
That's a very cool option, though, to get drawn into the book that way. I think, you do have the drawn into the story option as well, but when you get drawn into the story, unless there's a word balloon that says, "Hey, Bill Smith, look out!" Then you have to actually tell everybody, "Hey, that's me. See, that's me." And I'm like, "That's supposed to be you?" "Yeah, that's me. I paid." "Okay, sure, Bill."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you sound crazy, like a crazy person.
they're at the back of it, where it's like our producers, Bill Smith and John Thomas, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's more believable. I would rather have that than be drawn into the story, to tell you the truth. And I write people into my stories all the time in chapter 1 to kill them off.
Right.
Yeah,
I've always worried about that. If I were to take that tier, like I'm like, wait, what are they gonna do to me in the story?
Exactly. That was my one thing my publisher told me when I was saying, "Hey, can I put like a real person into these books? Like, if I wanted to kill a friend," he's like, "Yeah, you can. Just don't insinuate that they're this kind of person or that kind of person." You can make any real character that kind of person, but we don't want to get sued by anybody by saying, "Hey, they said I was a this or a that."
Yeah, I can.
No, I just want to drive them off bridges and have them get shot. Like that.
Yeah, just like totally decapitated.
Exactly. I kill all my friends in the books. Now here's a nice one. This is the $250 one. Now this is just for a page, right? Or is this bundled on top of it because it's
it includes a page, yeah. So it's an original art page and then plus everything else. So that's the maximum, where if you choose that reward, you get drawn in the book, you get to be in the story, you get the art print, you get the collector's edition. So that's the main one.
Oh, now wait a second. So that's all cumulative. This 175 being drawn in, you're drawn into the story and you're still drawn into the credits.
Yeah, it's all cumulative. Yeah, so like every tier up that you choose, you'll get the previous one as well.
That is very cool. So naturally, if I were drawn into the story, the original page I would want, where I was drawn into the story.
Yeah, that can definitely be an option there, and
since you're going to get drawn in anyway, it might as well be your page.
Yeah, you might as well have it. That way you can really convince people.
Hang it up in the living room. That's what I would do. So we got some stretch goals here as well.
Yeah, and real quick, I wanted to mention that the original art tier and that whole tier that I have there, it's actually for the first week only, where it's $200 instead of $250. So that's an early bird there, where it doesn't show it on the graphics there, but people that are looking at the reward section, for the first week only, you can get an original page, and it's $50 discounted, like off from the $250. So like for the first week only, you can get that same tier, but just $50 difference.
I just boomered the whole thing here because I'm like scrolling to it, not scrolling to it and not showing the page.
Oh, it's okay.
I caught myself pointing to the screen, like you can see me pointing to the screen where it's at. Like, you idiot! You might as well just like nod on the phone or something like that. So yeah, $200 to get original art, 2 hardcovers, drawn into the story, drawn into the credits. That's an amazing deal. This is good for another couple of days, actually, because it's only got 4 days to go, and somebody's already done it. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got one backer doing that. The stretch goals. This goes above the $6,000. The $6,000 goal that we're shooting for here.
Right.
Yeah. Now we go from matte to a deluxe hardcover. It'll become a spot gloss.
Yeah. So what I want to do with that, if you wouldn't mind scrolling actually back up to the cover, I can kind of explain my thought process for what I'd like to do with the deluxe hardcover. There is what I would love to do is, you see how Fletcher is in the middle there, and he's kind of, more out than the other characters. I want to emboss that portion and have him be, physically like out. And
Yeah.
I really thought that'd be a really great deluxe kind of incentive for people. And then I don't necessarily, and I probably still debating, but I would prefer, the image itself maybe to be gloss, but still the frame and everything to be matte. And then
spot gloss, just
yeah. Yeah, so that's really for people that are wondering like what that might be. I'm gonna specify it in an update coming up here. That's really like envisioning it. That's what I would really, really love to do is pop Fletcher out there and kind of gloss up some of the more the characters and our the titles and everything, and make that even more deluxe.
So Fletcher would be debossed. He's going to be pushed forward, not pushed in.
Right.
That is very cool. Chromium, red chromium. That's chromium.
Right. Yeah. Just get like foil.
And you've hit the $2,000 mark, by the way.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's awesome. Hey,
I don't know where that came from. We've never done that on a show before, so. Let's look at the rest of these stretches. $8,000 expedited shipping. Now, how are you pulling that off?
Yeah, so that we're going through Print Ninja, which is the printer of the first book, and they're a really quality printing service. And I got a quote for it, and that's what it would be just to get all the books here. And it would cut the shipping really in half for people. And that's the reason I wanted to make it a stretch goal, because I really don't like having a long turnaround time. And I thought for backers that really want the book as soon as they can get it, it would be a good incentive. And it's just something that was possible for the book this time around. So I'm really, really excited. Like, really hope we can make it to do that, because we're planning on getting the books to backers early next year, probably around April or May is the time frame. But if we got the expedited shipping, we could get it in like February or March, at the latest. So it really, really cuts that in half, and it's really such a necessity, I feel like, for people that really want it as soon as they can.
All right, now these are all locked in, so it's too late to change anything. But I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the cheapest and easiest thing to do the third one on the list?
Well, because I really wanted the incentive to be the deluxe hardcover, and it's something that I wanted to push for. I felt like people would want a deluxe hardcover more than a sticker, and I wanted the kind of priorities of the campaign to be in the first couple, and then we can get into all the cool, fun stuff afterwards.
I hear. I can understand that, because now it's like you're like, I've done the ones I wanted to do, but what if we hit other things? What could I do?
Yeah. Now, and it's something I put in the first update for the book yesterday. Is I asked backers there, what do you guys want to see for the stretch goals? Because I like having those flexible for people, and because I really love feedback, and I want to give people what they want, not just what I think might be cool. Like, do you want a sticker? Do you want a pin? Do you want a T-shirt? Things like that that might people can people can have some say in what they could get later on.
Yeah, throwing little tchotchkes in there like bookmarks and stickers and stuff, that's easy. I mean, one of the things you can do through Sticker Mule, which you're probably familiar with if you're doing stickers, they're doing the acrylic charms now, and it's hard to tell from this one because our logo is a circle, but they do these die cut, and that's why I keep this one here from Jim Balance Tarot Witch of the Black Rose promo that he did. So they'll cut it to shape. So if you had like your main character in a heroic pose, they would cut it around him. They would do, of course, the same thing for their stickers. And this is the point in the video where I remind people that if you want one of these stickers from us, these 3-inch holofoil chromium, whatever they're called, stickers, all you have to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Critical Blast at 1097 Prestwick Drive, Belleville, Illinois 62221, and we would be happy to throw at least 2 of these into the envelope to send back to you, so you can have one and share with a friend, or put them on both sides of your car or something. I don't care what you do with them; they're yours. But stickers are fun. I mean, even as an adult, I'll get I'll get crowdfunded stuff, and it'll come with a sticker, and it goes right on the back of my laptop lid, which is all of a month old right now. My wife says, "You've had it for a month and you've already trashed it up." Yep, I did. First thing I put on was my Critical Blast sticker right there in the middle.
Well, that's the way to do it. It's like, hey, I'm proud of this. I want this on my laptop.
Yeah, I worked for this sticker.
For the longest time on my older laptop, I had this really cool Iron Man sticker, and I had a MacBook, and his hand where the repulsor would be was actually where the lighted Apple logo was. Yeah. So it was this big sticker on my laptop, and he's doing this pose, and the Apple's right there, and every time I would open it up, it would light up, and I just thought, man, that's such a great idea.
I've seen people do all kinds of things with they just get a sheet sticker and then draw something on it. So I've seen things like a hand holding the apple. They make it work around the apple. They get really creative. Yeah,
right.
Mine is a PC. It's a Lenovo PC, and the last one was still waiting to be hammered. An HP machine. But when I got my iPhone, it came with this white Apple sticker, so I couldn't help myself. I put it right in the center of the lid, so I got this Apple on my HP, and people look at it like, "Wait, what? That doesn't make sense." But that's just the way my warped mind works on things here. So, did you reach any of the stretch goals on the first one? I know you had a $6,500 goal the last time. You hit that.
Right. No. I for my first campaign, I didn't. I don't remember especially, but I think I might have just had 1 or 2 stretch goals, but I think they were kind of higher up than the 6,500 goal. So it's something that I've been playing with my last 2 campaigns, and trying to figure out how I can best use stretch goals for the advantage of the campaign, because really, in my head, I'm thinking I really just want to get this funded. And so stretch goals to me have always been kind of a second, like an afterthought. But with this campaign, I really wanted to try to dial in on what would be essential for people, because I really love getting stretch goals when I back other people's projects, and I love trying to, get that extra thing that we can make, it's something that I'm still learning about with this campaign.
Well, you're doing something right, because like I said, you are now at 4% of the goal, and you still have how many? 28 days left to go. Was that from the original 30? Yeah, you just started this 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So it's only day 3, and we're already over 2,000, which is incredible. Like, I have to say, I feel so humbled and overwhelmed right now, because having done 2 previous ones before, and having it be around the same goal, seeing the progress of what Anthony and I have been doing, and how much it's grown, and our reach has grown over time. It's really encouraging, because you're always wondering, am I making an impact? Do people actually like what I'm doing? And so to see this right now, and how I was comparing the numbers to the campaign for the first volume, and like I said earlier, it's the numbers have tripled in terms of how many backers we've had, and where we're at from the very first campaign that we did a few years ago. So it's really mind blowing to me, because I feel like, you know, this is really working, and we're making an impact with the story, which is really important to me.
Well, I definitely think you're going to make it. You got 28 days to go. I'm not too familiar with Kickstarter. I'm more familiar with Indiegogo. So I don't know if, you know, 28 days and they give you an extension like you can with Indiegogo, where you can say, hey, I'm going to do it 30 and then I'll extend for 30.
No, actually, yeah, it just it has to be within that time frame, and that's what kind of, I guess, makes it all the more, you know, more of a gamble or a risk, but also kind of gets people more excited at the same time, because they know there's a definitive end to it. And I always try to, like, you know, tell people all the time, you know, it's like, you know, we only have this much amount of time, and so, like, I'm urging you to get on there.
Well, I think you're going to make it, but, you know, best of luck anyway. Just you know, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I never want to be too overconfident. Like, you know, I always try to be cautiously optimistic with these things, and but I've had a lot of people tell me, you know, like, you know, you've put a lot of work into it, and I have, you know, like, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and it's really like a part-time job when you're trying to run a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign. And you know, you really have to, like, I set up a pre-launch page for it, and you know, I've been working on the Kickstarter page. It took me a while. You know, you really have to take your time with it. And, you know, for people that are wondering, like, you know, if they should do a Kickstarter, it's like, you know, you really have to at least give yourself a few months to get familiar with, you know, the website you're working with, whether it's Indiegogo or Kickstarter, and you know, just play around with things, and, you know, don't try to cram everything like all in like, you know, a few weeks. You really need to give yourself a month or two when it comes to when you feel like you're ready for it. And, you know, even before then, there's this whole other process. It's been a really large learning experience. And even though this is my third campaign, there's always, you know, things you're trying to tap into, and you're always trying to find a bigger audience the more you go. And so that's been really interesting, and what I'm most curious about.
And you got to do all that pre-launch publicity too. I mean, you can't just launch and say, hey, we have the Kickstarter. You've got to have people
no, it's honestly, pre-launch might be even more important than the launch itself, because you know, you want people there when it launches, you know, and that's what's important. You know, your first day is your most important day when it comes to crowdfunding, or your first week at least, and then the final week too. And then the hard part is how do you keep the momentum going in between.
Absolutely. Well, you're a third of the way there. If you want to come back, you know, sometime in the last couple of days of your campaign, just to give it one last push, you know, maybe you can bring your artist along with you. See if Anthony's up.
That sounds great.
We'll just make a telephone push of it. But
yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to just go ahead and sign things out from here. Appreciate everybody in the chat coming by. Appreciate everybody who backed it during the stream. You're making me look good, and that's you know, that's what we're here for, is to bring other people to these projects, and get the spice must flow. Get the funding flowing.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
I forgot to ask if it's done.
What is the book? Or?
I mean, is it still being drawn, or is it like it's already?
Yeah. So the book is over 100 pages, like around 120 pages, and we have like 70 80 pages done, you know. So like there's like 20, like about you know 25% of the book the art needs to be done for, but that's a part of the reason for the Kickstarter as well, to help produce that and make that go even faster too. So that'll really kick things into gear when we hit the funding goal.
All right. Well, Nandor, appreciate you being on the show with us tonight. Look forward to seeing you again. If not for the end of this one, then for the beginning of fall, which will happen sometime in the spring.
Right. I'm going to keep confusing people.
All right. We'll talk with you later. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.